Scene on BBC Radio London with Aurie Styla.
This is The Scene.
Work, work, work. Rihanna, Drake. Who does not love that tune? This is BBC Radio London. My name is Aurie Styla. This is The Scene. I've had some great guests in the building. They've gone and then they've all come back. And they're in the building here with me right now. What's going on? So Vicky's here.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right then. Also Paul's here. Sorry, so one more time.
Hello, good evening. How are you doing? Nice me, Paul.
That's all right. Percelle's here as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it normal. I'm gonna keep it simple.
Just normal stuff, innit? Yeah. How you guys doing? You all good?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Right. Nice. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna talk topics, and also actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna bring in you right now because normally we wait a little bit to bring you in, but I'm gonna bring you in because you've got to be in this topic. Also, I've got my entertainment correspondent in here. Akua, what's good?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. You all right?
I'm good.
I need you in this topic because I feel like you're gonna have a opposing opinion, but also than mine on this one. I do need that opposing opinion. Okay, This is what I call the generational debate.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Generational debate. I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying this. Right? Basically, what happened to me? Let me show you. 1 second. I put up a post today, right? And this is a topic that I've had many times with my friends and family and so on, me and my brother especially. I put up a post. It was a repeat of a post that came up 4 years ago. You know, you get the 4 years ago, you put this up and all of that on Facebook. I was like, cool. And it was a picture, I'll show you. It's basically of a lady who's an older lady who is kind of captioned, and it says, these kids don't know about cassette tapes, phone cards and floppy disks and stuff like that. And then it's of a younger girl just on her phone, kind of like, well, whatever. And it says, who cares? It's 2015. Why are you still talking about it? And the reason I put this up a while ago is I feel that there are many people of the generation before trying to put down the generation that is now with their values that were not so much their values, with their experiences, and saying, well, your experiences ain't like my experiences and stuff. I've already seen Akua's face like messing up because she's fixing to say some stuff. And my caption that I put underneath here says, and that is exactly how I feel when my aunts and uncles have 2 sip of brandy and want to feel like they're the cool age group in the room. These kids don't know. These kids have it good today with their instant messaging and their Gmail. And I said, if you learned how to operate an iPhone or a DVD, you would also have it good too. So why are you angry at us for? And it caused a debate on my Instagram that I didn't think it would cause. Apparently some people were like, well, no, they need to know the values. The kids need to know where they came from, and they need to understand that the era that they're listening to when it comes to music is not as good as my era and blah, 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 blah. Can you lot already see Akua's face making up right now when I'm saying this? Right? Akua, because it seems like you already have a view and opinion, I want you to talk.
I want the young people to talk first.
No.
I think we're all young. I think we're all young. Just
I like what you did there. You made her feel good. I like what you did there.
Because he's my homie, so it's all right.
Okay. Come on, Akua.
What do we just say? Like, I think there has to be a balance. I think you got to... There's a dismissing of our history and past and culture which gets remixed with every new generation. Yeah. And I think it's something that's a bit sad because you kind of forget where certain things come from, where the original started and stuff like that. So I think there needs to be a level of understanding where you came from. However... Okay. There are lots of every generation. You guys are sitting there saying, or you haven't said it yet, but there are going to be your generation are going to be saying the same thing.
Of course.
To your, so it's like something that you can't get away from. Every generation will say their time was better. I do think there's a lot. This culture is a bit more fast and a bit more throwaway than the cultures before and the generations before. So we had a lot more respect and honor for things because they weren't so easy to come by. You've got a lot more things that are easy to come by now, so you don't necessarily hold on to it as dear. Listen, the cassette tape, when you had to sit there and pause and record and take time and fast forward. No, it's not a thing, but it's a thing that makes you value certain things more. Like,
all right, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Is that something you could say as well?
First, well, I just want to say I rate you right now because I'm on your Instagram, and I rate how you've gone into paragraphs with each of these different people commenting. What? Do you know how much energy I know you put into these comments?
I was on the bike in the gym. I had time, innit? I had time. So I thought, why not? You saw the post, didn't it? Yeah, man, I had time. I had to let people know. I feel like the guy that was going on, mainly, right? I don't know him personally, but shout out to him. He's a PT from America, and he was going off at me saying some outlandish stuff, saying, well, the kids need to learn. I mean, I'm passing on my value. And I was like, I hear that, but you would. I'm not saying that you don't pass on your values, but dismissing their whole environment and experience,
can't dismiss it.
that's what causes a divide.
Yeah.
Because we're sitting here saying, like, if my parents were saying, Aurie, everything you're into is rubbishness because it's not what I'm into, I'm not going to feel like I can relate to them or talk to them about any struggles I'm going through.
Yeah.
But he weren't hearing that. He was like, nah, I'm sorry, but they need to understand that my era is better. I mean, like, Paul, like, you're telling me about your mum saying, make sure you remember you're Irish.
My mum used to, like, I think kids nowadays, they take everything for advantage. But, like, my mum, and this is generally true, my mum always used to say to me, like, she'd buy us clothes, but if we ever tried to wear them out, she'd be like, where do you think you're going in them clothes? They're your good clothes. Church. Funerals. That was the only time we were allowed to wear the good clothes.
Okay.
And then we'd grow out of them and they'd still look good. And she'd go, well, give them to your brother. Pass them down. I mean, I don't think that happens anymore, does it? You know what I mean, kids don't get...
Nah, but pass down? Wait, your
It
queen?
depends on your family situation.
Yeah.
I think there are people with certain budgets. Pass down
yeah.
is still real.
Okay.
But yeah, just general. I mean, my mum was... I'm Catholic. You know what I mean? She mum's a proper Catholic. So, I mean,
Yeah.
It was sort of, you get what you're given. You know what I mean? If you don't eat your dinner, you're going to bed. It's simple as that. You know what I mean?
I love when you jump in and out of the accent, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I spend 50% of the day speaking in an Irish accent and 50% because my mum still lives here. So it's,
Okay, yeah,
it's almost
fair
like
enough.
a split personality.
Fair enough. What about you, Vicky? I mean, you got traditional Nigerian background. So what's your view? I mean, you must get this as well from from family that say about, because it's not just it's not just the age thing. It's almost a traditional cultural, because you're born and raised here. So they would say maybe you're more westernized, where they're from home in Africa. Yeah.
They say
Percy's put his hand up as well. But go on, Vicky.
Well, they say to value what you have. Cut your coat according to your size. That's what you always hear from your mother. Make sure you look after your clothes well, because when you get older now, you have to work hard to get what you have. So I always had when I was younger. But what I've noticed with the technology in general, like, I feel like the stuff that was back then was more stronger. Like, we had the phones. The brick phones.
Like the 3310s and stuff.
They last longer than now. Like, when you drop the phone, your screen's already cracked. Like, but they don't make those things anymore. But yeah, I guess.
Do you? I mean, does your mum or who's the more, I would say, the more authoritative parent or the more strict parent? They say
my mother. Actually, I got the most beats out of her. But my dad will be like, she did this. Okay, my dad will allow her to be.
Wow. Okay.
But I appreciate the beats now because it would make me. I'm a better person now.
Okay. Every culture has their way of bringing up, I guess, and it differs and so on.
Yeah.
I would say more so from what more I'm asking is in terms of the
Generation.
the generational thing. Is there anything that you are into? I think the main thing is one that everyone is social media. Everyone's into social media right now or uses social media, and then you'll have aunties and uncles saying you're always distracted on the phones and always on your social media. We never had that back in my day. People used to talk to people face to face and stuff like that. Is that something you hear from family Percelle? What about you?
Yeah. All right, I've been waiting.
You got a view on this?
No. I've got different perspectives to it, right? But I feel like I think I agree on the social media thing, but I do think it's hard because they are now the social media generation.
Yes.
So they are living in this microwave that they didn't know anything else but the microwave. I do feel like there's a disconnect. I do feel it's both parties that need to come together. Because I feel like the hardest thing is that as a young person, sometimes it feels like we have to go and do all the work, you know what I mean, to get that respect from an older person to value my feelings or value what I'm saying. But also on the culture thing, I have to say, how much of our culture do we take forward? It's a question. The reason why I say that, okay, there's holes in the culture. I'm from an African background, Zimbabwe. There's certain things that I don't think I might continue with my kids the way that I got treated.
Same.
It might be discipline. I have to question the discipline stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I get the discipline to a certain degree, but I always go, how comes we didn't have the conversations for our parents to have the emotional skill set to talk, to then figure out the problems that we possess? And I feel like with the social media generation right now is that the good thing is that everyone's got a voice and they're using it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not in the best ways, but they're being vocal, but also being exposed to so much knowledge that, bro, I didn't know what vegan was like 4 years ago. You know what I mean? But I know I know everything now via social media. That's my point. I'm saying I know like so much more. I'm so much more in tune to so many different cultures around me because of social media. Do you know what I mean? But my main point is that there must be a coming together, you know what I mean, from both.
Yeah. I think you are right with the coming together. I do, just to throw a rebuttal onto that, I do believe that the problem is with the idea of coming together, that if one side, which tends to be the parents or the older generation, who I would say generally would be more stuck in their ways because that's what they know to be correct, doesn't show signs of wanting to come together or feeling like they should take a step forward, how does a younger generation go, well, let me follow by example?
Exactly.
For speaking personally as a mother of a teenager, one thing that I did was take the best bits of what I grew up with, the old school culture, put it into her, but also took on board what she needed to.
What, for example?
And I think for me, like, African culture, seen and not heard. It's not even just that it's black culture. It's that respect level thing. Because my generation, I'm 70s born. So that kind of kids don't exist. Your opinion doesn't matter. Your parents.
This is what I'm saying.
Listen, in my frustrations and having to not being able to communicate with my mum the way I wanted to, I was adamant that raising my child, she's going to be able to talk to me about everything. So this kind of modern culture where actually talking about your feelings and emotions between your parents and the younger generations, I made sure that this is something that I'm instilling in my child, that you've got to be able to talk to your parents. Whatever issues, your first port of call should be your trust, safe places with your parents, having that. And then I'm bringing my knowledge that I have as an adult, but also listening to her experiences. And we kind of, that's the way the generations can come together.
See, I like that because there is a compromise in terms of your position. You've taken a step towards her, and hopefully she also takes a step towards you, and there's an understanding. Yeah. I remember once I had I'm not proud to say, in fact I am, a little bit. I had a back and forward debate with my auntie, right? It got tense, but it was done out of love, but it was very much her complaining about how the youth are nowadays, and saying the way I was raised. And I stopped her right there. I said, if you're going to complain about how the youth are nowadays and how you might think we're lost, or the generation now is lost in this day and age, but you're going to talk about how you're in a good place because of how you were raised, you need to take some ownership, because how the youth are would be by who raised them. The same way that you're going to say that the way that you were raised was by my grandmother raising you a particular way. What happened to your generation maybe raising us? And it got into a long back and forth between and the funniest thing is, she was talking about the influence of social media. We were having this debate on Facebook. So like, if you're going to talk about, how bad social media is, you need to come off of it and call me. Phone me. Visit my house.
How many comments would you get back and forth with?
We did a few comments.
How far was the thread?
Do you know what the worst bit was? Is the thread was it was deep, because I wanted to read back everything and her to read it back again. I get petty sometimes with my own family at times. I'm not going to lie to you.
Sometimes you got to.
I've got the exact same thing. I recently put a thing up after Christmas, switch Audible and Kindle for Facebook and Instagram. I put it on Instagram, and my brother commented underneath going, "You do realise you're writing this on Instagram?" So it's the same sort of thing.
This is the thing,
yeah. You can't win. You know what I mean? Where else am I going to find people?
This right now. This is exactly what it is. Yeah. And I feel like, and the reason why it hit me is because I've been seeing. I mean, like I said to you, Percelle, when we was talking, it was about the culture that of negativity put towards. The stigmas attached to our youth in the UK. There's a lot of things that are happening which is not positive. I will definitely agree to that. But then to keep perpetuating that we are a lost generation, I don't agree with, right? I believe that we can either be saved, or we need to look at what we can do to save those who are lost now, and maybe to outreach to them. So I put the post up thinking, if you want to help young people, you need to understand them rather than going, well, they're not like us.
But also young people are open to hearing, because there is a thing, like, I didn't want to hear what my mum had to say, and especially becoming a parent, it's where certain things have clicked into place and made me understand, that's what she meant.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm like, I look at them like, Mum, yeah, okay, all right, I get you.
But
I think kids aren't necessarily, younger generations aren't always open to hearing what they're, because old people, the same dismissal comes both ways. I don't think it's solely on the adults. No. I think sometimes kids are like, that's nonsense, or this is this, and we know. And yeah. My mum says, a lot of parents say this: if you can't hear, you must feel. That phrase. So, and it's basically, if you can't hear me say, avoid the fire over there, if you're going to go and walk into the fire, you're going to feel burnt. Yeah. Right? Or if you're going to go over there and lose money, you're going to lose. But I tried to warn you, if you can't hear, you must feel the repercussions of your action. Every young person thinks they know it.
This is the thing, so I get that.
I was the same.
Or sometimes you have to kind of go down on their level, like find ways to, you know, if they can't relate to you, you kind of have to go on their level, like, you know, speak like them
Speak
or
slang.
what they
Do you
like
need to come and say, yeah, guy,
you know,
just hang and stuff. And
engage
Wait, is
with
that what you do, Akua? Do you try to speak like your
no,
teenage child?
I'm quite young at heart, so I'm kind of in there, like. But I already speak kind of slangy sometimes. But I try not to go too deep. It doesn't sound right, and I'm starting to say certain things. Just be naturally mature and don't say.
Yeah,
things.
one time you walked into the office and you went, "Hey, Aurie, what are you telling me?"
No,
I was like, "Wait, what?"
I never said that.
Snap.
Does it
Like
even
that?
sound
Hey,
like
Aurie,
does that sound like my vernacular?
Hey, what are you telling me?
I never said any of that.
Like, what are you telling me? If you break it down word for word, is not slang. But when you piece it together, the way you did, hey, Aurie, hey, what are you telling me?
You know, guys, I never said it like
It's
that.
with the
Never,
slap
ever.
as well. You know the hand.
Yeah,
just goes down.
I don't talk.
What are you telling me?
That's like
What?
No. I take back that slander. Take back that slander.
Okay. Well, I feel like if we were to summarize, like, it's nice to think that there has to be a compromise, an understanding where young people have to go, you know what? Let me hear what the elders are saying, and the elders have to go, you know what? I can't just expect the young to cross over to my side of the bridge and go, yeah, let me think like you. There has to be a medium. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but there you go.
kind of unlearn and relearn what you already know, and, you know, research what they love, like and
Because it's scary. It changes fast. Like, I'm 25, right? And I get
15-year-olds
scared.
are different from you as
Bro,
well now,
yeah.
innit? Different.
Bro, I'm
Listen.
talking and then I'm saying stuff that ain't right. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
part of.
15
And I'm like,
and-
whoa, what's
Trust
going
me,
on?
like the gap between me and my brother is a 10-year gap, right? But we can still flex in the same. Like, he'll
Yeah,
know some
yeah.
things different from me, but we can kind of
Yeah.
still flex. Whereas I have cousins who are like 7, 8 years younger than me.
Yeah.
I can't communicate with them. I can't follow what they're doing. They're a different. I'm
And
in
you
between.
might try, but one word that you might say might slip out, and you'll be like, oh, whoa.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
when they go, you
Uncle Aurie, what's
old.
going on?
Yeah, it's my cousin, but that's when I'm uncle now, innit?
And they call you uncle.
Yeah, I'm cousin, but they Uncle Aurie now, innit? So, Akua, my entertainment correspondent,
Yay.
what have you got
I'm
to
going
let
to
us know
fly
today?
through these. I know we've got to wrap up soon. So, what's on? It's all TV today. I thought we'll do a little bit of a TV run.
Okay.
So, Doom Patrol. The annoying thing about what I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about is the fact that you can't get it in the UK just yet. However, you can get a VPN or whatever that means. However, it's a brilliant. You see, I'm too old for this stuff. It's a brilliant superhero series. This time it's out of DC.
Okay.
It's about 5 misfits who experience an accident that changes their lives forever. And after their accident, they each individually end up together under the roof of Dr. Niles Calder, who's played by former James Bond Timothy Dalton.
Okay.
So he's a doctor of medical science who specialises in finding those in need who are on the edge of death in need of a miracle. And then he goes missing, and then this damaged bunch are forced to face their issues, of which there are many, and come together and find them. So it's just a brilliantly quirky, weird, off-key series. It's challenging the norms of a superhero show, and because DC is kind of failing in the box office on TV, I think they're faring a bit better. Like this series
Yes.
and Titans, another series that they kind of interlinks with, is brilliant. It also stars certain homie of ours.
Yeah, it does. Say his name.
Joy
Say his
Ben
name.
Wade.
Yes.
Jamal
Come
Wade
on.
is in there.
Yeah,
You
man,
know.
he plays Victor Stone, cyborg, half human,
Yeah.
half machine superhero who's struggling with the duality. And he actually calls together the Doom Patrol. And you've got another brilliant actress called Diane Guerrero. She was in Orange is the New Black and in
Yes.
Jane the Virgin.
Yes.
She is ridiculous. She plays Jane, who's got like 64 different personalities, and they've all got superpowers, and she can switch between them very well, like James McAvoy in Split. It's just that level. She's
Yeah, yeah.
really actually very good. I think she deserves awards for whatever she's doing. There's other people. Brendan Fraser plays a robot guy called Cliff, and
No. Rate Brendan Fraser, please.
no, okay,
I beg you, rate George of the Jungle.
No, wait, George of the Jungle, George of the Jungle.
There we go. Yeah, go on.
No, Brendan Fraser's a legend. He plays a robot guy called Cliff. He used to be a
Yes.
NASCAR racer. You've got Matt Bomer and Matthew Zuck, who play as Larry Trainer, who's Negative Man, who's like a guy up in bandages and all that type
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And then April Bowlby plays Rita Farr, former actress who develops the power to stretch, shrink, and grow.
Yep.
Which gets all weird. It's just so good. I love it. And as I said, they have no conversation yet as when it's going to play in the UK.
It will play.
I think so, because Titans is a series that
Titans is on now, and that's yeah.
wicked.
Yeah.
It interlinks with that as well,
Yeah.
kind of similar worlds, and that's on Netflix. So we're hoping, and like I said, VPN, whatever that is, you lot.
Old people talking now. innit?
This is what I'm saying. The next Netflix series I'm talking about is The Society. This is for your teens and those of you who can't let go of your younger years and love a good old YA series. It's all right. It's challenging. It's set in Connecticut about a bunch of high school students who set off on a school camping trip, but as they're on their way, a bad storm hits and they're forced to turn around. Expecting to come home to their waiting parents, they go home because no one's there, and then they realise that all the adults have disappeared in the town. And it's a very kind of modern, it's been described as a modern take on Lord of the Flies, if you know that story. Kids left on a shipwrecked island. On an island shipwrecked,
like Hunger Games,
and they've got to navigate madness, democracy, dictatorship, politics. And what I like is that it's quite a nice depiction of how society is formed, destroyed, egos, personalities. You've got the typical posh American girl and the all-American frat boy, and then you've got the popular girl that's a bit challenging and annoys everybody, and lots of things happen, but it's just the fallout of what would happen with a bunch of kids that left in a town and their parents disappeared. That's on Netflix now, and it also made me think about, are you prepared for Armageddon or Brexit or the invasion of aliens come?
Did you just align Brexit with Armageddon?
Or an alien invasion? Come on, we're at the moment we're at the mercy of these three things happening.
That's how it feels, though.
That's how it feels. What I'm saying. Are you prepared for any of those things?
Armageddon, Brexit, or the Ice Age?
Who will you be? Will you be the leader or will you be the follower? In those situations, it makes me really think like, I can't fight. I can cook, so hopefully I won't be the first to get eaten in that situation.
Fair enough, yeah.
And also, let me find out, where am I going? I'm losing my notes here. Have I left something? No, Riviera Series 2. Ooh, there you go. So this is back for those of you who love the stylish drama thriller set in the south of France. The series returns with Georgina Julia Stiles from Save the Last Dance, who is trying to pick up her life after the mysterious yacht death of her billionaire husband, Constantine Cleo. So it's all, drama and dramatics. And there's a new family that are joining in this new series. They're called the Elton family. And it's a dynasty who sail into the shores of the Côte d'Azur with secrets of their own. Juliet Stephen takes on the role of Lady Cassandra and is joined by her children, Daphne, who is Poppy Delevingne, and the brooding Nico, Jack Fox, and Daphne's husband, Rafi, who's played by Alex Lenny-Pekun. And I've got a clip from Alex now. You're coming in for season 2, and tell us about your character.
Rafi, he's a very successful man and comes from a wealthy family, but has made a lot of money himself in business, and him and his new wife, Daphne, played by Poppy Delevingne, and the rest of her family, her twin brother, played by Jack Fox, and her mother, played by Juliet Stevenson. We all descend into the Riviera, and I guess we come in as like a new family to stir things up a little bit and cause a little mayhem where we go. Yeah.
So, okay, distracting me, man. Try going like I'm not professional. Anyway, so the second series of Riviera will air on the 23rd of May on Sky Atlantic and Now TV. And finally, just a little favourite of mine, Project One Way. Love it, love it, love it. Sorry, I just love it. I hate reality shows generally, but I like reality shows with a purpose.
Which one is this one?
Project a Runway. It's a fashion one. So basically, the fashion industry evolves, so does the runway. It's got a new aesthetic because, I don't want to go into too much detail, the former version of it was under the umbrella of a certain Mr. Weinstein, so things got shut down and removed and remixed and moved to another platform. And then it used to be hosted by Heidi Klum, and the mentor used to be Tim Gunn. They've moved on, and now Carly Kloss, a supermodel, and Christian Siriano, who's one of the winners from a previous season, he's now the mentor of the fashion designers. And it's basically a bunch of fashion designers in a house. Every week they have tasks, and then someone goes and all that type of stuff. Typical reality show. But I just think it's so good because you get to see fashion, and I love fashion. And that's on Amazon Prime. And just reminding you guys that Aladdin, the live action, is out this week, Friday the 24th of May. It is so good.
You saw it?
Last week I played a clip where I spoke to Will Smith and Guy Ritchie. Always trying it with me, guys. But it's very good.
Yes.
Very brilliant. And for those of you who love the cartoon classic, this is a very worthy remake, and Will Smith does a good job as a genie. Thank you.
Can I throw you a quick question about this?
Yeah.
Because this will be the new generation's Aladdin. Right, and you came from watching the original one.
Don't try it. That's what you sound like. Yeah, back in the okay.
It was back in. It was 94.
Yeah.
But I know I watched it too.
Yeah.
Right, I'm not gonna put myself down and say I never saw it. It didn't come out when I was about. I was young, but I remember it still.
Yes.
Do you feel like this one it doesn't top the old one because the old one is the original?
No, I'm not like that. Not on this one. I think
some people feel that way.
Like, but some things that you can't beat the classics. I couldn't pull something to mind now. But
Ghostbusters.
I haven't. Do you know what? I didn't finish watching the girls one. I didn't finish watching it, but I don't think it can probably top the original because I've got so much emotional stuff attached to it. But people might say that the cartoon's better. But this is literally pretty much lick for lick the same with a few visual additions to make it work for the screen. But Guy Ritchie the director hasn't steered far away
it's
from
just like
it.
it's a good.
So it really is an
Nice.
update. So I don't see how you could think it was. I don't know. I think it's great. It's great. I think it's a very worthy remake.
I was trying to find the whole the kind
You
of.
wanted me to fall into
the
trap,
angle
didn't
of
you?
the old school.
I'm not-
I want the old school. I wanted that.
They are
but-
remaking Coming to America, so I want to know how they're going to do that.
I don't know
Now
about
that one, yeah. So
I don't know about that one. Coming to America.
yeah, it's coming.
I think it's part 2.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So-
like a sequel.
So it's going to be about his son.
Oh,
their son.
okay.
Yeah.
That's not a remake. That's like a later on his
But
son
still,
comes
you're
out.
Still,
touching
you're
a
gonna-
classic. You're touching a classic.
That's what I'm saying,
Okay,
man.
Yeah, new
Fair
blood
dues.
that need to deliver.
That's what I'm saying.
that's fair, dude.
But the original Aladdin's cartoon, isn't it? And
Yeah,
this one
so-
is sort of like.
But
It's live
there was
action,
always
yeah.
a risk, and obviously Robin Williams, rest his soul,
Big suit-
was
big
big
suit
shoes
to
to
fill,
fill.
yeah.
But Will Smith makes the genie his own, and it works.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Go see it.
All right, we are coming up to the last couple minutes of the show. I need to get everybody's socials and just let us know where we can find out what you're doing and what how we can keep in visual range of stuff that you're up to, especially with your respective fields. Let's start with you, Percelle. Sorry, it's gonna be a push for Percelle. No. Percy, can I say that? Then?
Yeah,
Percy,
you
go
can,
ahead.
man. You can. Yeah, if you want to keep up to date with the stuff that we've got going on, it's at Percelle Ascott on Instagram, Twitter, and every other social media, and just also the Wall of Comedy, Wall of Productions. But yeah, more times it's just the Instagram. That's the main. I don't know about you guys, but that's the only social.
That's me.
Maybe
Yeah.
Twitter as well a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, Instagram.
Nice. What about you, Vicky?
Hey. Once again, my name is Vicky Sola. So Vicky with a Y, not with an I. Sola. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, all over the socials at This Is Vicky Sola. So it's Vicky with a Y, not with an I, Sola. I also have the music video to Cooked Food, which is finally out on YouTube
Nice.
as well, and Spotify, Amazon, everywhere.
Okay. What about you, Paul?
I'm just on MySpace at the moment.
BA.
I'm joking.
BA.
No, I'm the same. I'm pretty much Instagram. So it's Paul Bradley _ and Paul Bradley Comedian on Facebook, and it's SoundCloud as well. SoundCloud / Paul Bradley.
Nice. Nakuya?
Sometimes I'm here producing for this troublesome lad, and also producing for Dot and Adebayo on a Sunday, and also run the British Blacklist, and it's pretty much Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. British Blacklist.
Nice.
That's it.
I want to say a big thank you to all my guests that are
Thank
here
you
in the
for having
building.
us,
Percelle
man.
Thank you
Ascott,
so much
Vicky
for
Sola,
having me.
Paul
Thank
Bradley,
you.
and also Akua. Right after me, we have got the amazing Duncan, who's going to be in the house. He's right there waiting to jump in. Duncan Box will be here from 10 o'clock onwards. I'll be back next week. Take it easy, guys. Look after yourself. This is The Scene, BBC Radio London. If you want to listen back, BBC Sounds, nice and simple. Take care. Later.